Welcome back, Aggieland, to another episode of Home Turf. I'm your host, Grant Gaspard, and with me, I got a returning podcastee, Matthew Cobb, and a new one. And they're both new writers to the Battalion Sports Desk, and we'll get into that after the intro. This episode of Home Turf Podcast is brought to you by RideHitch.com. It's like Uber, but for longer distances. Private or shared rides between cities. Enjoy 30% off your first 4 rides using code AggieNews3. Repeat, use AggieNews3. It's AggieNews3. This episode, once again, was brought to you by RideHitch.com. What's up, guys? With me today is sports writer Matthew Cobb and Collin Miller.
Howdy.
What's going on, guys? We're back.
Glad to be back.
Let's get to it, man. For those of you who do not know Collin, Matthew had a chance to introduce himself last week, but Collin, what's up?
Hey, I'm Collin Miller. I'm new to the battalion. I'm a sports writer. Been writing some stuff that's been on the website and on Twitter. It's been awesome. Really cool experience. And so I got the great opportunity to sit down with you and be on the podcast. I'm really excited.
I'm glad for you to hop on it with me, man. Collin, kind of like Matthew, they both volunteered to come on the podcast. I really appreciate them taking the time out of their day and coming and talk Aggie sports, man. There's nothing better than talking sports, am I right?
Yeah, this week's going to be a little rough.
I mean, minus this weekend.
This morning.
This morning.
It's hard.
It's overall has been a horrible weekend for me.
Oh, me as well. It was tough for both our teams.
Both of our teams. What's you got an NFL team you watch? Keep up with the NFL?
I'm a very passive Cowboys fan. Like, I'll tell you they go to the Super Bowl every year, but don't ask me like the stat line to any game. Like, I know they lost against the Bucks, which I could have told you that like last week.
Yeah. I mean, I talked to me and my dad. We kind of before each game, we'll kind of predict what we think's gonna happen. My dad said we're gonna win 41-10. And like you, Collin, I knew we were going to lose week 1.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. It was happening. But I thought we at least scored a touchdown. I had us 2017. We lost 19-3. It was just similar to this A&M game we're about to be talking about. It was just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world until Dyke went out. Has surgery already. I mean, just
out 6 to 8 weeks.
What a brutal weekend for us.
What happened to him? Did he it's like
his hand hit someone.
Yeah, I saw the high five. Like I saw the collision of knuckles, but I don't. What was like did he like break?
No,
his
yeah,
hand?
like so when he was throwing and that guy came and slapped his hand after he threw it, and I guess it hit his thumb and brought it back.
Oh.
And dude, he immediately ran off the field and then onto the sideline, then from the sideline to the locker room. And while he was running to the locker room, people were throwing trash at him.
That's crazy.
Wait,
that's wasn't it at?
It was
in Jerry World.
In Jerry World.
Oh man, gotta love.
Those fans were ruthless, man. Those fans were unhappy. I was seeing fights break out after the game on Twitter. It's just, it wasn't anything good. But anyways, last weekend, me and Matthew did a particular parlay. And Matthew you were talking bold last week.
I mean, you got to be confident in yourself.
I mean, obviously, I respect that. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to go through this parlay real quick. Remind our listeners what we had and who won at the end. So first we have Rams at Bills. Matt had over 52.5, and then I had the Rams covering 2.5.
And how did that go?
That didn't go good for me. It didn't go good. You almost had 52.5. I think the game was 31-10. Actually, you're probably 10, 12 points away, but. Anyways, we both took an L.
That's practically covered. I mean, that's
practically.
The over practically hit. I mean, if Matt Stafford knows how to throw a football, like the over hits.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that didn't happen. But I mean, I'm so jealous of the Bills. Yeah, they have such a good quarterback.
Josh Allen is awesome.
So hard,
dude. I love him. You see him running around all over the field. He was running he's my fantasy quarterback in like 3 leagues, and he was just running way too much for my. He was scaring me. He was over there trying to truck linebackers.
Yeah, dude, he's big. He's as big as the linebackers.
I know, but if he gets hurt, my fantasy team's done. And then I don't have college to look at. I don't have NFL because the Cowboys aren't going to do anything. And then my fantasy team's just going to be
other than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know why you would say that. I mean,
we got the loss out of the way.
We got the loss out of the way.
We got the loss out of the way. It wasn't even.
I still have the fake hope that I show on the outside.
Jesus.
I told you, passive Cowboys fan. I don't know anything, but I'll tell you they're going all
It's
the
hard
way.
to be that passionate of a fan just because, like, you kind of know what's happening every year. Every year the media props us up, and then, just we're
Down,
never
yeah.
there. Yeah.
Well, shoot, going on to this next game, we have Browns at Panthers. I had the over 41.5. You had Cardinals winning by 2 or more.
The Panthers?
Panthers.
Yeah. I mean,
Panthers.
Anybody who watched this game knows that it was a heartbreaking loss for Panthers. I mean, was there 1 second left when the Browns hit that field goal? I mean, it was terrible. I mean, Baker drove them back. He played awful in the first half. Came all the way back, drove them, go-ahead touchdown, and then, the Browns hit a field goal to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, and before that game, you remember, we discussed it. What Baker was talking, he was saying he's going to go in there and just put it on the Browns. And I believed him. I mean, the reason I took that over at 41.5 is because I thought the Panthers would win by 41. Like, I thought they were going to put 41 points up alone. Instead, it was flip-flopped. I still won it, but the Browns won it, and it wasn't my reasoning. But hey, I got my first dub, starting off 1-1, and you were 0-2. Looking at the next game,
that was a weird one. I mean, Christian McCaffrey was barely involved. Like, I'm just not sure what the Panthers were trying to do on offense, really.
No, it was a weird game overall. Next one, we had Steelers at Bengals. I mean, I had the over at 44.5, and I was 1 point short.
Woo.
You had the Bengals winning by 6.5.
1 point short, right?
1 point short.
No.
No. Yeah, no. Steelers came away with the dub. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. You obviously weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
And it was both 2 O's right there. I mean,
I was watching this one. It was a tough one. Joe Burrow. I mean, him not playing and getting surgery, being out, it showed. It showed.
No, he came out immediately. I was playing against him in fantasy as well, and it was awesome seeing him throw a pick on the first drive, and I was loving it. But then fantasy team still lost, and so did the Bengals. So we both took an L on that one, going on to the Chiefs at Cardinals, and the Chiefs absolutely manhandled the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, this was to be expected. I won't say to be expected, but as soon as this game popped up, it was in the back of my mind. Like, I could see the Cardinals keeping it close, but I could also see Chiefs just smacking them, and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah. And, I had the Cardinals winning it straight up, and they straight up lost. And they straight up did not win this game. And, Matt, you got your first win in the parlay. You had the over 53.5.
There it is. I'm going to carry this into next week. That's momentum.
That's momentum.
That's huge.
And then finishing it off, we're both tied 1-3. Who's going to come home victorious? And we had the Raiders at the Chiefs. Matt had his faith in the Raiders, +3. I had my faith in another team, the Chargers, at -3. And in the end, Chargers won. Khalil Mack absolutely had 3 sacks that game. He was a beast, exactly what I expected. I ended up coming away with the dub, man.
Yeah, this one was tough. I just went against you, make it interesting.
Yeah,
Saw Darren Waller drop the touchdown in the end zone. I mean, I honestly thought the Raiders would look better, but I still think that both these are pretty good teams, especially the Chargers. I think both these teams will make noise at the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I won, but I don't feel like I won. After this weekend, it was a really poor weekend. Actually, I went to go play golf yesterday.
Where'd you play at Traditions?
No, I went to go play at Briarcrest.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a nice course. I went to go play 18 holes. I had to get after Saturday, what happened there, which we're about to get into it, and that Sunday, I had to go.
You had to hit something.
I had to go smack some balls around. I had to go crush some balls, and it was.
What'd you score?
I watched the 12 o'clock game. We did a scramble. Me and my buddy against these 2 other guys. Me and my buddy, my roommate, we're 3-0 right now.
Oh.
Yeah, and scrambles, so we just started partnering up, and we've been dubbing ever since. If you find yourself a partner and want to play, no.
If you're 3-0.
I mean, I'm not. I'm all right. I can't say the competition we're saying is good.
Supposed to say they're not good.
Well, dude, I have a horrible slice.
Okay, yeah.
So
do you get carried? Honestly.
I think we complement each other. I think my chips are good.
Carried? Is that
what
that means?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm getting carried, but I'm taking the credit for the wins.
Hey, you won.
Yeah, and I had to go clear my mind for the Cowboy game, and then the Cowboy game just made it worse. And then it was just overall horrible weekend of football. I slept in. I'm thinking about the next week, and I'm putting this past week behind me. Overall, how was y'all's weekend though? It was a good weekend.
It was. I mean, Saturday was really, really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Sat there with my head in my hands on the second deck of Kyle Field after the game for like 30 minutes, and just was like, man.
Did y'all stay the whole game?
Yeah, I think there was 1 minute left, and then my friends were like, "We gotta go." I mean, that was. I immediately texted my dad after the game. That was probably the worst football game I've ever watched. It was just a terrible weekend, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, I mean, it was my job. I had to stay and watch that whole performance. I was doing the recap of the game in the press box. I got to go on the field and watch the final drive, watch Caden Davis kick the ground before he kicked the ball, and watch it just dug underneath the goal.
That was a golf swing right there. He just hit it fat. Like everybody around me was like, "Oh man, it got blocked." And I was like, "I don't think it got blocked. Like it didn't have weird motion. Like it just."
No, you could on the field you could hear him kick the ground.
Oh.
I don't know if you go back and try to watch it, but he literally smacked the ground and then went up to kick it, and it just dropped right in front of the end zone, and it wasn't even close.
Was there anything weird with like the snap or the whole? I mean, did he hit the laces?
The snap was fine. I just think it was the nerves. Because one thing, a couple of my inside sources from the team told me is that Caden Davis is knocking down 68 to 70-yard field goals in practice. He's good.
Yeah.
He's really good. And I just think it was the nerves that came in because the snap looked fine. It was just he went for the kick and his foot dragged. And it made it hit the ball, make it.
This was to tie in the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
Like this was a big boy kick.
Yeah, and I can't put it all on him because the whole game was horrible, and we're about to get into that right now. So, App State versus A&M recap. What went wrong? What happened, guys?
I mean, just look at the pure stats, like the ones that the cookie cutter stats that everybody shows you on, the Sunday morning after you've watched the game. Like, they beat us in every stat there is. Time of possession was ridiculous. Like, if my memory is correct, it was like, I'll just give you approximate. It was 40 minutes to about 18 minutes. Like, they almost tripled us on like time of possession. Plays, they almost doubled us. They had 74 or 76 plays run, and we had 38 plays or 36 plays run.
So for the exact numbers on those, actually I ran down. So it was 41 minutes.
Yeah.
And so you're right there to the 18, which you're correct.
Yeah.
And it was 80 plays.
They ran 80?
They ran 80 to our. It was either 38 or 39, but they ran half more plays than us.
To Appalachian State's credit, they played that game amazingly. Their running backs were hard to take down. They had 3 guys that they were cycling through that just were like fresh the whole game. Yeah. They kept our defense on the field. I think that seemed like their game plan, where they just wanted to extend drives as long as possible. Because it wouldn't make sense to me to go for 4th and 1 4 times unless you're really trying to stay on that field.
Do you agree? Like, what did you see out of that App State offense? What was working for them?
Yeah, I mean, on the defensive side of the ball for us, I've heard a lot of people throwing around that, the defense limited them to 17 points. The defense played well. Defense is not playing well whatsoever. I mean, Appalachian State's whole game plan with Chase Bryce, the Clemson transfer quarterback, and an experienced guy, their entire game plan was to chew up clock. And it worked flawlessly.
Perfectly,
It was flawlessly. DJ Durkin ran a 3-man front the majority of the game. We got pushed around and bullied by Appalachian State, which is inexcusable. I mean,
you're right.
The thing is, they weren't trying to put up 60 points like week 1. I mean, the defense did not play well whatsoever. I mean, there was a couple of good plays from quarterbacks breaking up passes. I guess the defensive linemen made some nice plays, but there was almost zero pressure, and they were running the ball on us. I mean, I was not impressed at all.
Yeah, App State was very well coached. Their offensive coordinator, Kevin Barbe, he is from my hometown. He's from Nederland, Texas. I'm from Port Neches Girls. That was our rival high school. But he coached at this private school, Monsignor. He coached at my hometown college, Lamar University. I don't know if you heard of Lamar. He's like they're the small D1 schools that A&M used to blow out in the past.
And
used to. And now he coached at Central Michigan. A little background on this guy. He coached at Central Michigan. He coached Lou Nichols, who last season he led the whole nation in rushing yards with over 1,800 yards.
Wow.
The leading rusher, like you can name Bama. He had more than Bama running backs. Every running back. It was this guy from Central Michigan that Kevin Barbay coached. He came and filled in Frank Ponce, who went on to coach Miami quarterbacks, who we're going to see next week. And so, yeah, we're not done with App State totally yet. But, yeah, that was really, really well-coached game. Their game plan to keeping the offense on the field and keeping our offense off the field worked. Their running backs, they had multiple running backs go in, like how we talked about last week. That one guy, Peoples, had 19 attempts, 112 yards. That was that running back that you saw absolutely run over us.
Yeah, I mean, it took 3 guys to take him down, and then, you know, it was straight up embarrassing. There's no other way to put it. For a team that, you know, was in the talk for potentially being in the college football playoff, much like the talks for an SEC championship, you know, we were in that conversation. And, I mean, we're not out of it yet completely. Our hopes are definitely crushed. I think there's definitely a little bit of kind of like if we didn't have a perfect, you know, 2, 3, 4 weeks at the beginning, like we just can't build up momentum to get to that. I don't think that's true. Whenever we talk about Miami, I think that's going to be kind of when I touch more on, you know, momentum, what that looks like, how big that game's going to be, especially with that game leading into the Arkansas game, which is our first divisional game.
Yeah.
Where we're going to be playing somebody that's actually from the SEC. We're also going to be talking about more kind of what the Aggies can do better on the offensive side of the ball and defensive side of the ball, especially when we talk about Miami. But back to Appalachian State and just how we, you know, I thought whenever I was watching the Alabama-Texas game where Texas played, I hate to say it, they played good. They played amazing.
Yeah.
And Bama was just not Bama. It was almost kind of the same situation, except for the Appalachian State, you know, the Texas in our analogy, won. Like, they beat us straight up. And we're no Bama, but we definitely did not play like the team that beat Alabama last year.
I agree, dude. I kind of like the little analogy there. Instead, those are 2 Power 5 schools to a Power 5 and a mid-major Sun Belt Conference team that you're supposed to be.
Little different.
I mean,
Sun Belt had themselves a weekend.
Oh, yeah, they had like 3. Marshall beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But Marshall's big.
And then, I know it was Marshall, App State, and who was the 3rd team? Do you know? And who was the upset?
Oh, man, I saw
Here,
it on Twitter.
I'm grabbing it right now.
Was it Southern Miss Sun Belt?
No, Southern Miss played Miami.
Yeah,
and they were winning 7-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
Before Miami came up and won 30-7.
It is painful to see Appalachian State be 1-1.
We'll get back to that, but keep looking it
I'm
up.
looking for
What else did you see? I'm tired of talking about App State's offense. Let's kind of talk about both sides of the ball on the A&M side. Defensively first. What did you see out of our defense that game? What went wrong?
Yeah, my main takeaways from the game is that it's hard to look at this football game just in a micro sense, and I think of the entire program in a macro sense. I mean, this was an absolutely devastating loss for the Texas A&M program. Like I touched on before, I was not impressed with DJ Durkin's scheme. Primarily had 3 down linemen. We have a cupboard full of 5 stars on the defensive line, and we let App State pound the rock on us. That is, if you would have told me that before, I would have said, no, that's unbelievable. I mean, it's inexcusable. We didn't show toughness. We didn't show strength. We didn't show the want-to. And I don't know how you get out-physical by a Sun Belt team.
Something I saw last game that was very different from past seasons. Last season, with Mike Elko at defense, you saw each game tons of blitz packages coming from the safeties. We saw one last game come from Damani Richardson. A lot coming from the linebackers. We saw one from the linebacker. Adrian Cooper came in when we did call in a blitz package and caused a huge incompletion. Quarterback rush. Bryce had to get out quick. Damani Richardson almost had a fumble recovery turn to a touchdown. that they overturned, calling it incomplete pass. But the 2 to 3 times that we called blitz calls, they were good, and then DJ Durkin kind of ditched that.
Yeah, it was definitely a head scratcher, and it was very similar to the Mississippi State game last year.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense just looked like they were on their heels.
Yeah.
They dinked and dunked their way down the field their entire game, and you would love to see some adjustments. When DJ Durkin came over, he was known for being aggressive. Insiders in the program said he was going to be more aggressive, run more blitz packages, and we just didn't see it. We haven't seen it through 2 weeks. Quite frankly, there's too many problems to address from last Saturday. I mean, it's really tough.
What do you think all this... No, that's my bad, man. I was just going to ask, so is this defensive line, do you think they're as good as people say they were before the season, or with just a bad coach, or do you think it's the opposite, where it's not that good of a defensive line, they only look good in training camp because our offensive line stinks?
Mm-hmm.
Or what is it? What do you think the overall problem is right now?
I think a big part of it has to be mentality right now. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, like, you have to see more. I haven't seen any players that just look like they're playing for their lives. And this has been a common theme and a common problem under Jimbo Fisher. Last year, we go out against Arkansas and Mississippi State, and quite frankly, we have uninspired performances. But then we go against Alabama, the number 1 ranked team, and nobody gives us a shot. We're 20-point underdogs, and the team is playing with their hair on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a big problem that we play to our level of competition, but at this point, it's not really a claim. I mean, the evidence shows that's what we do. And last Saturday, we played down, and I don't know what else to say. We should be so much more athletic, stronger, bigger, faster, and I think the mentality is a problem. I would have liked to see more 4 down linemen, more 4-3 front, but even when there was, it's not like we were getting pressure. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that we were out-coached, obviously, and out-physicaled on both lines of scrimmages.
Yeah, and let's switch over to that offensive line, something that a lot of people are talking about, a lot of fans were upset at during and after the game, is Haynes King's performance.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think the Haynes King hate is coming way too fast. Right. I think we haven't... I don't want to be making excuses that don't need to be made. And I don't want to say, like, oh, he's this, he's the next Johnny Football in our program. And I don't think that. I think he's a really athletic guy that doesn't have experience. And for my personal taste, he's a little too gunslingery. He likes to throw it down the field too much, but our offense just isn't built to throw it down the field. I mean, last year we were 90th in 20 yards and up passing completions. Like, we just don't run deep or middle deep well. I think that's a lot of Jimbo's outdated offense that we could find on NCAA 14. I think there definitely needs to be adaptability, but with the Haynes King situation, it's very difficult because Haynes King has such a high ceiling and he has such a low floor right now.
Yeah.
And he is just not at a level that we want him or really just expect him to be at. Yeah. I mean, we were also really used to Kellen Mond, and we heard the same chatter last year with Calzada of this guy, this guy isn't the guy we need. This guy isn't the guy we want. And, we fell back on he's not a starter. He's only here because, Haynes King got hurt. And then he beat Alabama. And, dude could get a statue. We're so excited for Calzada. I mean, I heard people chanting in the student section, we want Calzada back. And I was like, no, we don't.
Yeah,
we don't. What we need to do is stick with somebody.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's going to suck. Having a star rookie QB is never easy because it's very, very, very rare that you have a quarterback come in and just run the table. And, I mean, he's played only, 4 games total? Yeah. And, I mean, the guys that he practiced with last year, a lot of them are gone.
Yeah.
He's basically with a new team almost. Yeah. So the Haynes King situation is so interesting, especially with Max Johnson kind of, in the magazine, Haynes King's in the chamber, we're ready to fire him. We're ready to, get him down there, and we're ready to, play hard with him and. But we have that Max Johnson guy, and he's got a lot of experience. And you know what? His ceiling isn't as high as Haynes King, but his floor is much higher right now. Like he is at a point right now where, I'm confident that if we put in Max Johnson, we may not be the number one team in the nation. Like I'm not going to make that hyperbolic statement. But what I am going to say is we're definitely going to see a lot more consistency on offense. And maybe we'll have a drive that lasts longer than 6 plays.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think, man?
Quite frankly, I'm gonna have to disagree with the Haynes King take.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, the ceiling and floor argument is just outdated. All of the evidence we've seen from Haynes King, I don't think he's a mobile quarterback. He's fast. He has straight line speed, but he has no escapability from the pocket. He doesn't use his legs well, and so that was supposed to be a major advantage. At least we were told of why Haynes King might have won the job. And he just doesn't utilize it. He doesn't look mobile. I'm not impressed with his accuracy whatsoever. I'm really not. He's third to last in QBR in the nation. Third to last is pitiful. And I understand. I'm about to touch on it. I'm not a fan of the system we're running. I think it'll handicap any quarterback in the country. I really don't like what we're doing on offense. But we've played Sam Houston State and Appalachian State. It's inexcusable what we've seen out of our quarterback position. But again, it's just another long-standing issue from Jimbo Fisher. I mean, every single quarterback he's recruited at Texas A&M, none of them have panned out to where we thought. We went from James Foster to Zach Calzada to Haynes King to Eli Stowers, who looks like he will never touch the field, and Connor Weigman is a 2022. And he's supposed to be the truth, but why would I believe that he is?
So before we touch into this playbook that we're both eager to talk about, I'm gonna kind of give a little something like on to your take and then something on your take. So for one, as in like, is this King's fault? On the side where I'm saying no, is the offensive line. You talking about a lot of people. We lost a lot of people last year. We lost Kenyon Green.
Yeah.
We lost a few. Jameer Johnson. I'm trying to think.
We got some guys out for injuries.
Some guys out. Bryce Foster's out with mono.
That's a big one.
Should be back. I mean, we had to deal with Matthew.
Wyckoff
at center.
And Layden Robinson is also injured. He's playing hurt.
Yeah, Layden Robinson's playing hurt. So exactly, this isn't the same offensive line. I kept a statistic up in the press box last game. He had 1.7 seconds in the pocket on average each play to get the ball out. Now, something going against that is you're talking about him throwing it down the field, doing that. We saw that a lot week 1.
Yeah.
Week 2, how many times do you see that?
I want to say it's tough because the main throws that stick out in my memory are all throws that Haynes missed. I mean, he had Chris Marshall over the top, beat his man, missed him. He had multiple crossing routes over the middle of the field where he missed Anais Smith and Evan Stewart.
Yeah.
There were a lot of throws that were, I mean, they honestly weren't the worst throws in the world, but they were like, we can't complete passes with that accuracy.
Do you know how many of those throws he had? This is a genuine question, I don't know. Do you know how many of those throws that he had pressure on him? I mean, he had pressure the whole game.
It's his stat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He had pressure to his face the whole game, but there's a lot where, as well, he did, but also where he didn't, couldn't complete the throw. There's a 5-yard out, I think it was to Yokeith Brown, where it was just him and an open field.
Yeah.
Instead of hitting him in the chest, he threw it behind him and low, caused him to catch it and slip falls down right before the first. There's a lot of difficult throws, and there's a lot of easy throws that should be completed. You can bet against King. You can bet for him. It's and like you said, these are 2 games that we're supposed to win, 2 games that you want to see productivity out of your quarterback. Instead, you're seeing this. And there's just so many problems, and I don't think it should all be on King. So I guess I kind of agree. But, also, I don't know, it's just the whole system, and that's why I kind of want to get into this offense that Jimbo runs. Mm-hmm. So, little history. Everyone's been hearing lately on Twitter, everyone's talking about this outdated offense. Well, for those of you who don't know, this is an offense that Jimbo Fisher picked up when he was an offense coordinator and quarterback coach at FSU from 2007 to 2009. He coached under college football legend Bobby Bowden. And this was his offense that Bowden's ran since he started there. I think it was 1979 or like the 1980s. And he picked up this offense, won him a national championship with a team, a very talented team, which I think we have a lot of similar talent here at A&M, but this team at FSU at the time was just unreal.
We don't have
Jameis
Winston.
we don't have Jameis Winston, Kelvin Benjamin, Jalen Ramsey. We have none of those guys. But anyways, and from 2010 to 2017, he coached or used his playbook, and he's brought this playbook over here. And a lot of people are saying it's outdated, it's old. What are y'all thoughts about this whole offense and with Jimbo going on?
Yeah, so it's funny. I think this situation we're dealing with in the media right now, it's almost like a crime scene when they bring a black light and it just shows everything on the ground. I mean, that's true.
That's super accurate.
I gotta agree.
Insiders in the program, anybody who truly follows Texas A&M football, or you go on any forums, message boards, websites, articles. I mean, everybody has been talking about Jimbo's offense ever since he got here, really. I mean, 2020, we had a great year with Kellen Mond as a fourth-year guy, but I don't think you would find a single fan before this year. I'd say starting in Jimbo's second year, I don't think you would find a single fan who's been satisfied with the play calling, the way we run our system. And now after this App State game, it's like all of those problems come to light for the whole world to see, because we lost against Appalachian State. The media ran with it. It's on the grand stage.
It's still in the news. People are still talking about it.
I mean, deservedly so.
Oh, yeah.
But Texas A&M is just... And Jimbo Fisher remained the main culprit. We're just getting attacked. And so it's all out there for everyone to see now.
I've been seeing on Twitter, too, people are attacking, the Yell leaders. And have you been seeing, the Yell leader hate?
You're like,
oh,
the same video 30 times.
Oh, A&M's a cult, this and that. Whatever, man. Yeah. I try my best to ignore the hate. There's always going to be Aggie hate. I mean, there's always going to be Longhorn hate. There's always going to be Bama hate. That's just, that exists with college football programs. It is frustrating to, a school that you really love and you're really passionate about, and then you get told you're weird and you're like, oh, man. And then you're like, you want to come back and be like, well, we're good at football. And then you're like, wait. But,
I mean, they're kicking the man while he's down.
Yeah, that's basically so true.
The whole campus right now during this whole week, we're down.
Yeah.
And that's just what all this media hate is, the videos of the Yell leaders, the bashing on Jimbo. Another source told me after the game that I think so the donors after the game, the big donors, were going up to Jimbo yelling him, calling him a fraud, calling him all sorts of names.
Well,
these donors put a lot of money into this organization.
Millions towards this, and
Jimbo, it's like everyone's getting hate. Jimbo's getting the most hate in particular. He's getting bashed right now. I low-key feel for the guy, but low-key...
That's the job he signed up for.
That's the job he signed up for.
You're on the hot seat.
Guaranteed.
You're on the hot seat. You talk big talk. It's exactly like a politician. If you talk big talk, if you promise all this stuff, and you show up, you're out of office, man. If you don't do this stuff, you're out of office. And that's the problem with where I think we are right now. You know what? I wish that, I feel like, especially Texas college football programs. I mean, even when you go back into the 80s with whenever SMU was absolutely massive, we won't talk about the death penalty, but when SMU was massive, when the boosters are involved, there is no play. There is no play. It is legit game time every day. And if Jimbo's going to come up and be like, you know what? We need to work on verticality. We need to be more explosive. We need to be better on the field. If he's going to talk all that stuff and then he's not going to do that, I mean, I'm going to stand by the guy, and I think that guy can pull us through, and I have hope that Jimbo has the answer. I think Jimbo will answer. I don't know what that answer is going to be, and I really hope it's this week. I mean, at the very least, come on, let's bring it up against Arkansas.
Season's not over.
It's not over. It's the second week. We have one loss. Yeah. It's not against anybody in the SEC. We're still on the table. Yeah. I know that we lost to an unranked team. I know that we're 24th in the nation by the 8 people. This is a well-coached
team with a Power 5 quarterback.
We
but
have
again,
the talent.
Again, I know. I see you. I see you smiling.
I'm laughing over here because at the end of the day, year 5, Jimbo Fisher, we're locked in the contract, $95 million. Just being a realist, it doesn't matter how experienced they are. It should not matter ever.
Ever. We have the talent to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Right now, there's two factors that we need, and we don't have either of them right now. We need patience, and we need Jimbo Fisher to be good.
Yeah.
And we have not seen Jimbo Fisher be good yet. And he's had some really great moments, some moments where you're like, man, this guy can. I'll be honest, I have been more optimistic for a national championship in this next decade than I've been for A&M since I was, in middle school, however long ago that was, like 9 years ago, 8 years ago. Like, it's been a long time coming. And, you hear the thing of, like, the Civil War was closer to A&M's last national championship than present day. And you're just like, man, that's crazy. We got to change that. So Jimbo Fisher's offense needs to adapt or die. That's the only options we have. I mean, with what I saw today, well, not today, with what I saw on Saturday, what we saw timidness, we saw just confusing play calling, and what we saw was a team that was thinking that just because you're in Kyle Field, you win the game. Yeah. Like, I did not see an attitude of dominance. I did not see an attitude of, like, we're here to play. And that's coaching culture. Like, that starts with the culture. And, Jimbo's really good at creating a culture. But it just is crazy to me that we just get boomed.
Something I want to speak on about creating a culture. Getting a group of guys, you have all the talent. You have the talent. You have guys who I think, and this is something that I believe that I haven't talked to y'all about, and I'm thinking that NIL is ruining football. And that's something y'all might agree with me, might disagree with me, but let me tell you some insider information that I have received.
All right.
Evan Stewart and Denver Harris, you know how much they got paid this season?
At least $1.
$600,000 each.
I was right. It was $600,000.
$600,000 each.
So they bought
and not from businesses, but from donors. Edger and Cooper just bought a $60,000 car, Camaro, marble slab. All these guys are buying Camaros, Chargers, spending all that money, worrying about fame, worrying about how they look rather than how they play. And I'm starting to get upset again, but this is NIL's ruining football. All these kids are worrying about how much money they're making rather than just playing football. Yeah. And that's in my personal opinion. And again, that goes back to the donors chewing out Jimbo. They're spending on this money on this team, on the players, and they're not getting any results because these guys are more worried about fashion, likes, media than playing football and going out there and winning. And all these fans paying money on tickets, buying jerseys. They're coming out with, you can buy players' jerseys now that's going into their pockets.
$140.
$140 jerseys, and we're spending, as fans, I think fans, they're not even doing this, like, they're not even hurting themselves, they're hurting the fan base too. Like, the players aren't the only ones that are embarrassed. Like you said, A&M as a school is getting embarrassed on media.
You know what the NIL destroyed more than anything?
What?
Program allegiance. That's what it destroyed.
Yeah.
We have recruits now that can go get money anywhere. Like, they can transfer now. So we have, because of this loss, now let's talk about the consequences for a second. Let's talk about the long-term stuff. This is all what if, but what if we don't pull the season together? What if we don't do this? What if we don't do that? We had the #1 recruiting class ever.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you that's because we had some kind of, like, special sauce. We took advantage of the Wild West of the NIL, and we took advantage of the Wild West of how this is affecting recruiting. And you know what? It was legal. It was a genius move by Jimbo Fisher. Yeah. We got the talent. The tough part is nobody knows how to retain players in the NIL era.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Nick Saban's touched on this. I mean, especially over the summer when there was that little, back and forth. Where I think Saban had some pretty good points. I think Saban said some pretty good things of, like, you know what? How much money total did we spend on those players that you just named?
That's over $1,200,000.
$1,200,000
on two freshmen.
$1.2 million on how many players? Two players.
And that's not even talking about how much everyone else is getting paid and all that. And these are just two freshmen in particular, and who Denver Harris, talk about him for a little bit after the game. I was on the field walking into the press conference room, and Denver Harris actually went up to one of the players. It was Deshaun Davis, who I think had like over 100 yards receiving, whatever, went to go dap him up. Deshaun Davis says, "I don't want to shake your hand." Basically called him soft. And he said, "We won. You're supposed to be 5-star cornerback." And upsets Denver. Denver's about to throw it down. Coach has to drag him off the field. App State continues to celebrate. But, that's something I want to go. I forgot where I was going with that. But it just shows that with me personally, if I just got handed 120 passing yards on me with the guy I'm covering, I'm not going to go dap him up after the game. I'm going to go straight to the locker room, watch film the next day, and then focus on next week. And these guys, I'm sure they're upset. I don't think they're that upset. But something that A-Chain said during the press conference was that no one cares if you're a freshman, a junior, a graduate. When you're on that football field, you're a baller. You're a football player. Mm-hmm. And no matter what goes on, whatever happens, they don't care who you are. You're all playing football out there. A&M didn't show up to play football. I would love to get more into the NIL deals with you.
Yeah,
we can talk about that another time. Matthew, do you want to wrap up this App State?
Yeah, man. Just a little rebuttal on that whole NIL argument. So, as a huge fan of the A&M program, the number one thing I want to see is us win.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, this is the transfer portal era.
Oh.
Nick Saban is the best because he adapts.
That's facts.
He's built his offense with the transfer portal. We have not utilized the transfer portal. Every single elite team, Georgia, Alabama, all of these teams, they're bringing in great players from the transfer portal and just plugging and playing them. We have not done that at all. Our only transfer this year was Max Johnson, who is quarterback 2 right now, and we haven't used the portal to build our team, but it could be used to destroy our team. I don't know if y'all saw the Evan Stewart retweet bashing Jimbo Fisher's system. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's huge.
Terrible looking. He retweeted a quote from Jonte Cook, 2023 Texas commit wide receiver, pretty much saying that Texas A&M has the players but not the system. He retweeted it and then deleted it after the game. That's awful. We could lose the locker room. We could have players transferred out, and in my opinion, that is why we must see Max Johnson, just because this thing could snowball, and it could snowball quickly.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And this is not an overreaction. Mm-hmm. This could be a program-altering loss. In this day and age, you have to adapt, and we need to adapt our offense, we need to adapt our play calling, and we need to adapt the way that we use the transfer portal and treat the players.
Yeah.
And that's really my grand take on it as a program. We have to figure some things out because we're at a crossroads, and we have an opportunity with all of our talent. We have an opportunity to do great things. It could slip through our hands just like that. In one season, we could lose so many players. It's now or never, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Miami? Talking about Miami?
It's Miami time.
The U.
The U. So we're putting last weekend behind us. We're moving on to Miami. We got it all out.
Every God-given Saturday.
Yeah, we got it all out of our system. We're good now. Let's look into the future. Let's look into next weekend. College Game Day was supposed to come here to College Station. They have to.
It still is, right?
Nope, it's going to Boone.
Oh, it must be going to like a high-profile school, right?
Oh yeah, they want to watch a good game, I guess.
They're going to a school who upset a number 6 ranked team.
Oh my God, what school is that?
Texas A&M.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And they're going to Boone, North Carolina. College Game Day is, and they're going to go cover Appalachian State play Troy.
College Game Day is covering Troy and Appalachian State.
Yeah.
That is an FU from Appalachian State. And they deserve it. They deserve it. They absolutely got us twice.
Where do I apply to Appalachian State?
I'm saying, I was so excited about this week, dude. I was in charge of writing the feature on College Game Day coming here. It's going to be front center on a newspaper, and they just stole that out of me. That's like the same way they stole that recap out of I was so excited to write the recap of that last game, and it's just something else. It's in the past now. No, I can't write the College Game Day feature no more. It's in Boone, North Carolina. Now this game is just another game. It's a 24 ranked A&M against the number 16 ranked Miami. Miami's coming off a 30-7 win against Southern Miss, which, like I said earlier, they were down 7-3 at half. Came back and won 30-7. They are now 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Scored 100 points in the past 2 weeks.
Are they back? Are they back? Is it too early to say that? Is it too early to say that?
We'll see. I don't think it's too early. I mean,
they pumped $100 million into their program for this season. I mean, they are very, very optimistic about this Oregon guy that they brought in.
Yeah, hey, they're getting their money's worth.
They're getting their money's worth. I mean, Oregon is, or not Oregon, Miami. Miami is a fun team to watch. Yeah. I despise the Hurricanes this upcoming weekend. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like the look of them. They smell bad. You know, I just don't want them to step foot on Kyle Field, but they got to, and they're entering the war. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're hoping for. So, I mean, talk to me, guys. Talk to me about.
So after being Southern Miss 37, which actually fun fact for y'all, Southern Miss, their running back is Frank. You know Frank Gore? Mm-hmm. It's his son.
Yeah, Frank Gore Jr. Right?
Frank Gore Jr. is their son, and he's a beast.
So really,
he's actually good.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really good. And anyways, they lost that. They won that game. Tyler Van Dyke, Henry Parrish, some names we're about to talk about. Is traveling to College Station this Saturday for an 8 p.m. game. So what's going on with that, man?
Let's talk about the U.
I heard you describe this as a meaningless game now that we lost game day.
Okay.
In my humble opinion, this is. Here's my notes. Right
humble opinion. Tell it. Tell on, man.
Word for word. Here's my opinion. It is now or never for the program.
Huge.
You come out and beat Miami and turn it around.
Huge.
Or this could get ugly.
Yeah.
Dude, put that on one of the banners that you fly the planes on. People need to know how important this game is for this program.
Yeah, man. I mean, this Miami game is. I mean, it's. I don't even have a word big enough to describe this thing. This is our biggest recruiting weekend of the year. This is equivalent to the Bama game last year. I mean, we have a star-studded list coming in. Even after we dropped the game last year, we're going to have, I think, 50 4- and 5-stars between the 2023 and 2024 recruiting classes. I mean, we have to show a product on the field. I think that we have to show some change. I think we have to salvage the season because the media is against us. The evidence of our offense, of Jimbo Fisher, all of this is working against us. And
when do we play best? I mean, when do we play best?
When our backs are against the wall.
That's
the hope here. That is the hope.
We got to show our teeth now, and we should have been doing that since week 1, but we're in the situation. I'd love to talk about Miami and just kind of what we're going up against, a little information on them, so we don't walk into this blind. Okay, so they just got a new coach. Coach was from Oregon. Coach, I think it's
Mario
Cristobal. This guy is good. Okay, he had a little bit of a rough go at Oregon. Not too bad, but he has a ton of potential. This guy can run a team. How well? I think we're about to find out. I think that he is in a situation right now to build a massive team if things go his way. He is known for building inside out. He is known for starting at the center and getting everybody else going, and he has built a heck of a line. It's young, but they have some great talent there. They have, I wrote it down, one of their really good, where did I write this?
Hey,
I'll find it later.
Yeah,
but basically their O-line has 2 really good veterans. Actually, in one of the I can't recall his name, but one of the AP voters for the polls writes a book every year on each team and how he thinks they're going to do, and he also creates offensive and defensive first and second teams kind of deal where it's just the entire conference. Yeah. Well, Miami showed up so many times on that it basically was just the Miami team. So their O-line is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Their quarterback, Van Dyke, we saw him tear some teams up. He is good. Their tight end, Mallory, dude, that's kind of their secret weapon. No, I don't hear anybody talking about Mallory, but that guy puts up numbers. Yeah. He blocks well. He runs well. You just don't know what to do with him. He's going to be a pretty big focus for A&M, and if he's not, he's going to tear us up.
Yeah. So I want to clarify something real quick, because when I said meaningless, I was talking about in the eyes of the college football team. I'm the college football broadcast game day, where they just saw this game after we coming off a loss. Was like, I'd rather go watch App State and Troy. Now for A&M, yes, this is a big time game. Let's go back to Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke, he's legit.
He's a big boy.
He's a big guy. Something that I want the Cowboys to look at in the future.
Hey, that's next week, dog.
In the past 2 games, he's has a 73.9 completion rating, averages about 10 yards per completion, thrown for 456 yards in 2 games, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Going back to that O-line, they've given up only 4 sacks against 2 small schools.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty decent O-line. What do you see out of this quarterback we play next week, man?
Yeah, man, I think that Miami, their offense has the potential to score a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I see out of them is potential. The first game they put up 70. The second game they faltered a little bit, but still ended up scoring 30. And so, this is an interesting one.
It's kind of scary. You know, just coming off Appalachian State, I feel like we're on our heels. Like, we're kind of still in the tailspin.
Absolutely.
And, we literally spent the first, 20 minutes of the podcast going like, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Our defense fell apart, our offense fell apart.
Yeah.
We didn't have 100 yards rushing or passing last week.
Yeah.
And last game, of course, it was against Southern Miss, but Van Dyke threw 253 yards.
Yeah.
Like, he threw over double of what we did the entire game last week. And so, different defense, different situation, different field, different weather, different everything. But you still got a guy that throws the ball. He threw it 29 times last game, completed 20 of those. That is a really good completion percentage. Yeah. That's really solid, and that's really scary, because if you're doing well in your first 2 weeks, you're probably going to do well in your third week.
Yeah. And going back to me out last night, I stayed up trying to find weaknesses in this offense and couldn't find any. They have 2 solid running backs in Henry Parrish, who on 37 attempts has ran for 217 yards, averages 6 yards per carry. Their RB2 does the same, averages 6 yards per carry, 21 attempts, 127 yards. They have a solid 1-2 punch. We're going to see more of Henry Parrish, but when Thaddeus Franklin comes in, he's going to be equally as lethal. As for receivers, they have this guy, Xavier, and I'm literally been trying to figure out how to say it's Restrepo.
I just say
looks like
Restrepo.
Xavier Restrepo. On 11 receptions, has 172 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he had 6 of those receptions were last game. It was for 72 yards, 12-yard average. So looking at that, I was also trying to find some weaknesses, and I think I found something. The bull rush, the pass rush, getting in the quarterback's face, making him throw to the check down.
Yeah.
Making him to where he can't be throwing those medium passes. We just cannot give him time.
And let's go back to how our defense performed the last 2 games. Is that something that we do? Did we see a lot of bull rush, a lot of pass rushing from our defensive line, a lot of blitz coming in? Is that something that we're going to have to adjust to and bring in come that game time? Is that something DJ Durkin's going to do? It's a lot of questions that we need answer, and we're not going to see until Saturday, and I hope they make those adjustments.
Yeah, man, we'll see. I think this is a game this is why we pay Jimbo Fisher the big bucks, and to put it simply, we have to win this one. That's I don't know about y'all. I think we have to win this one.
We have to. There's no question about it. The Battalion Sports Desk will continue to cover this matchup throughout the week, from offense versus defense, our defense versus their offense, players to look out for, all the good stuff. Battalion will have it here, and they'll be covering it. We'll be writing it, including with the in-game recaps, a special feature, and takeaways from that game. Battalion Sports Desk will have it here. Now let's get on to golf.
Hitting up the greens.
All right,
touching the greens, man. Running up the course.
We got football out of the way. Now let's look into some more Aggie sports. And with me is Collin, big golf guy.
I love golf.
Yeah.
I hate golf, and I love golf.
You hate and
I
love golf.
hate playing golf because I'm never good enough. So
Yeah.
I go out and you think you're going to be good. It's always going to be a good day till it's not.
Yeah.
So you go to the driving range and you hit, and so I'm in the golf class, and Coach Bob Ellis is the professor. If you don't know who Bob Ellis is, he's essentially one of the greatest golfers in A&M history. I would argue the greatest golfer in A&M history. And he's one of the best coaches A&M has ever had, just period. Like, the amount of wins, the tournaments, the stuff that he has done is insane.
Yeah.
Golf's just not talked about. And so I was like, you know what? Let's talk about some golf.
No, and I agree. I think, especially with Sam Bennett just winning this amateur championship
That was
not
huge.
too long ago, that's big news. That's huge. That's good. At least we have some good stuff coming in from A&M sports, and especially golf lately. And I'm going with women and men's golf. Has both been playing spectacular.
I've been paying attention to men's golf more just because I'm more familiar with the team and how men hit and how that looks differently than how women hit. And women's golf is definitely something I'm trying to pay more attention to. The women, we have great golfers. Oh my gosh, our women golfers are great. They're so good. But let's talk about the Badger Invitational, which is
so
men's golf.
A&M, right? A&M golf, women's golf, or men's?
Men's golf.
A&M's men's golf is in the middle of a invitational right now in Wisconsin.
Yeah, they closed it up a few hours ago. They played individuals yesterday.
Yeah.
And then they played some team today. They were supposed to play it yesterday, but because of some tough weather, some inclement weather, they had to delay it until this morning. So they started at 9:30. So I immediately I had a class at 9:10, and so I was barely in that class. They don't have it on TV or on the radio or anything, so I'm sitting at like this golf forum that I pay attention to that like accurately records the stats and kind of keeps it up to date. And Wisconsin's hosting. It's in Wisconsin. It's the Badger Invitational, Wisconsin Badgers. But I was just constantly hitting refresh, just trying to get every stroke that I could as soon as I could get it. And dude, we've got a team.
So how's this invitational been going on so far? Where's A&M at? How are they looking?
So to put it simply, at the end of today, through 38, our team is in first place, and we are 9 below. We're under 9. Second place is under 6. What I love about college golf more than I love about like PGA golf. Yeah. PGA, people like to compare the minors and the majors when it comes to like amateur golf and professional golf. Like there's just this massive gap. And that's true. That's totally true. Yeah. But with amateur golf, it's genuinely a completely different game because it's different strategy, it's different approach, but you also have the amazing dynamic of team golf, which you don't really have in PGA level because it's all about the individual, it's all about the brand, it's all about, you. It's all about what you can do on the field. And what that does and what that causes is you have the same situations over and over and over again. You don't have a variety of intense and close and clutch situations that happen. Like it's like you're down a shot and you need to make it. Or you need to make this shot to win it. Or you're up and you need to make this shot in order to stay up. Like that's kind of really the only dynamic that comes with individual golf. Which, great dynamic. Awesome. Amazing for the sport. It's worked for centuries. Yeah. It's worked for a really long time. But with team golf, you have the ability to make mistakes. You have the ability to come from behind. And you have the ability to be more clutch in a situation than any other situation in individual golf. And so with us being under 9 through 38, and we only have 18 to play this coming... Well, today's Monday, and they play Tuesday, so whenever this comes out. But they play Tuesday the 13th. That's their last day.
It's looking good.
It's looking really, really good. Like, I'm not saying we've won it because second place is pretty close. I mean, they're only 6 under, but if we continue to play as we've played, I mean, we have some amazing golfers on our field.
And
I need to stop saying there we go. Okay, so our starting lineup for golf. These guys aren't really known that well. Sam Bennett's probably the most known because he just won that big tournament, and props to that guy. That guy is awesome. That guy's a stud. Well, he's 1 over right now. He is really? 1 over par, which, golf's hard.
Yeah, that's
golf's
hard. I'm saying here.
I know. Like, he's 1 over. That guy's terrible. And, I'm like, I'm 1 over on. I'm like 15 over.
Yeah,
on
I was like
hole
18 over. I literally bogeyed every hole.
Yeah,
yesterday.
you get to the turn. And you're like, do I want to go home? Like that's. Yeah. I stopped counting sometimes at hole 12.
Oh yeah,
that's just how it goes. But talking about professionals or semi-professionals. Sam Bennett is up 1. That's what I love about team golf is he can be up 1. William Pacey, probably the best golfer we have. I would argue he's the best. He's from Belton, Texas.
Belton.
You know Belton, Texas?
Yeah,
it's right by Temple. The only notable thing Belton, Texas has is the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor. They're kind of a D3 monster. Yeah. They
won their national championship.
Yeah, they won
like
5 years. Well, they lost last Saturday.
They lost. Their national champion?
No,
they lost their first
the
game last Saturday.
And my girlfirnd actually goes to school there, and she texted me. She said, "We lost," and that's the first time we've lost in 2 years.
No, dude.
I was like, "What?"
A buddy of mine played there the past 2 seasons, won the 2 national championships, quit playing this year. But he's described their off season, their training camps like a freaking training for the U.S. Army. It's intense training, and that's why they're winning, they're good, but
they're good, and they'll probably move up to D3, or D2. But back to golf, Daniel Rodriguez or William Pacey. Just to go back to him, he's under 4,
really,
which is crazy.
That's really good.
That's crazy.
That's really good.
That really doesn't happen a ton in these team golf. There's a lot of strategy that comes with that, and he's just played amazing golf. He's just played amazing golf. What's crazy is I said that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
But the 4th man on our roster, we skipped number 3. I'll come back to him. But our 4th man on our roster, forgive me for pronouncing your name wrong, man, but Vishnu Sadagopan. And we're just going to call you Vish because that is way better than what I just said. Because that's not how you say it.
Yeah.
Homie is 4 under. So we have 2 guys that are 4 under, which is phenomenal play. Yeah. Super exciting to see that. This course, it's not a super difficult course, and it's not a very long course. The first few holes, the first hole is like 524 yards, if my memory serves me correct, but it's over 500 yards. But really, it's Traditions, which is our golf course at home. It's probably the smallest golf course that plays invitationals because it's just... it's kind of crammed into kind of a 3-block kind of area. It's right by New Main, right by George Bush, right in front of the admin building. What is that? The East Quad, South Quad, something quad. One of the quads.
It's one of the quads. It's one of the 4 quads.
I have a 25% chance of getting it right. East Quad. It's the East Quad. We're just going to say the East Quad.
Yeah, let's call it the East Quad.
It's the East Quad. Daniel Rodriguez is up 1, which is good. That's close to par. That is one birdie away from being par, and he can do it. He's done it before. He really just had one really bad hole, and that was hole 2. Yeah, that was hole 2.
Started off bad, but he's been playing.
Or no, not hole 2. That was no, it was hole 2. Yeah, I was right. Okay. It was hole 2. Second hole of the game, early in the morning, grass is still a little wet, you've got it. It's just how it goes. That hole is 555 yards. So that's the hole I was talking about earlier. Yeah. It was hole 2. I confused it with hole 1. Hole 1 is 396. Okay. But hole 2 is 555 yards. That's a really tough hole. Yeah. If I remember right, it has a dog leg that's kind of tough to hit. But, he's only up 1. We have 2 guys that are up 1. Those are the only guys that we have up. Our 5th man in our 5th slot, Michael. And once again, I am sorry, man. Heidelbach.
Let's call him Big Mike.
Heidelbach.
Let's call him Big Mike.
Big Mike. Big Mike.
How's he been playing?
He's down 2.
He's down 2?
He's down 2. He's really good. kind of up and coming. Guy's a big guy. I mean, he's the 5th on our slot, so he fought hard to be there. Our team is doing really well. Really well. Overall, if I had to make any big takes, like if you're like, Collin, what's going to happen? I think we win it first or second. Western Carolina is hugging us close. I know that Southern Florida has a really good golf team. They're tied for 4th right now with Marquette.
Yeah.
I can see them jumping up with a really good round. Wisconsin's on their home course, and they're just even, which is surprising. I definitely thought Wisconsin was going to play a lot better than they did.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good individual guys that are playing. We're going to talk about individual play in just a second.
Yeah.
But, man, this it's not close, but it's close. The numbers make it look like, looks like the Aggies have a top 3 win guaranteed, but we don't know. And
we still have 18 holes tomorrow.
We still have 18 holes, and that's a full round.
We'll see how the amateur championship champion himself, Sam Bennett, plays.
Sam
the
Bennett,
other 2, if he steps up, it sounds like the other 2 are playing really good.
Here's what Sam Bennett does well. Sam Bennett starts hot and stays hot. Sam Bennett has a tough time getting back up to that heat. When he won the tournament, the amateur tournament, a few weeks ago, he won it. He won it before it was over. I can't remember the numbers. I was actually talking to Bob Ellis about this. And he was like, Sandy Boy won it way before the match was over. Like it wasn't close. He destroyed them.
Really?
But he started hot and he stayed hot. So my only worry is that our number 1 guy didn't start hot. But that's what I love about team golf. We have 4 of the guys that are absolutely smacking around the ball.
And what was that quote Sam Bennett said at the end of the tournament last time? Basically just saying, they asked him what was the difference between him and the competition today, and he said he had that dog in him.
Yeah. That dog in him.
He has that dog in him.
That's the way to put it.
Maybe tomorrow he comes out, that dog makes another appearance, he comes out the kennel.
Yeah.
Let's let him roam free.
All the animal analogies. Let's just
let the lion loose.
Let the lion loose. I mean, that's all I got. Yeah.
Let the falcon fly.
Let the falcon fly. Let the phoenix rise.
Let the phoenix rise.
Phoenix.
Phoenix,
Arizona.
That was Phoenix.
No, it's Phoenix. You're right.
Phoenix?
No, it's
Dude, I was like, wait, it's Phoenix.
No, it's Phoenix.
It's not me messing with
you. I'm not messing with you. Look it up.
There's no L in Phoenix.
It's silent.
Phoenix. Yeah, but we'll see if we have 18 more holes tomorrow, and that's why I kind of want to get into the composite schedule and wrap this up about what's going on with with what else. Just because, dude, I think we're like
we're over now.
Okay,
yeah.
So no, you're straight, man. We got everything with golf. So yeah, I want to take a look into what's going on next week to wrap this up. So, like you said, tomorrow we have 18 more holes at the Badger Invitational. Nothing with Aggie Sports on September 14th or 15th, and then Friday it all kicks off again. We have cross country at the Texas A&M Invitational. That'll be at 8 in the morning.
That'll be awesome.
Volleyball plays at you're covering that, right?
I'm covering it. I'll be there.
Hey, there you go, man. We got battalion everywhere, and we have volleyball playing at the Western Kentucky University Volleyball Invitational. Their first game is against Indiana. And then they have another game against Western Kentucky at 7. And then soccer plays against Georgia at 7 in College Station. Make sure to show up and support.
Oh, yeah, that'll be huge. That's a huge game.
Saturday, we have football versus Miami.
Giga Mags. Man, Giga Mags.
Let's see how they step up and see what they learned over this past weekend and what they do this week, what kind of adjustments they make there. I'm really excited to watch it. This will be the first time I'm going as a fan rather than covering it, so I get to be in the atmosphere. I'm excited about that. And then volleyball ends off their invitational in Kentucky against Tennessee Tech at 12 p.m. Make sure to tune into that. And to end it off, Equestrian is having their maroon and white scrimmage in College Station at 1 p.m. on Sunday, September 18th.
All right. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
I'm excited. Things are looking up for most Aggie sports. That's really exciting.
And let's hope all Aggie sports can continue to have a great, safe fall semester.
Yep.
I appreciate everyone tuning in and listening to this. Collin, you're awesome.
Dude, I appreciate it. So thanks for letting me come on. It was really awesome to be able to sit down here.
You're going to be on here more, I can tell you that.
Dude, that's awesome.
But yeah, tune in next week. I'm real excited about next week because
good.
we got a gift from the president of Rudder Association. It's with the coming out of the Fall Sports magazine, he decided to gift us a 1923 version of the Fall Sports magazine. It's old. I've been reading through it, and it's awesome.
It's super cool.
Like,
I got to touch it. It was a blessing.
It's really so cool. Like being able to read into the past, especially 1923.
Yeah.
Which the 100-year anniversary will be. It's about a century old next year.
Yeah. There have been several Aggies that have handled that thing that are no longer alive.
Yeah. And salute to them, and
God bless them.
God bless them. And I'm gonna take a peek into that next week. So hop on, and you get to also come on this journey with me into the past of Texas A&M football.
I'm excited to hear about it.
And then also I'm gonna do a little offense analysis of Jimbo's playbook. Don't know yet if I'm going to do it in podcast form or in feature form, but that will be coming out soon. So a lot of exciting stuff coming out of Battalion Sports Desk. Collin's going to be covering cross country. When he posts that, make sure to read it. It's going to be awesome. I already know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get you on soon, dude.
That's awesome. Can't wait. Hey, share with your friends. Share with fellow Aggies. We're just trying to spread Aggie love and knowledge about not just, the big sport that you hear about, but all sports, and just make sure that you guys are informed about everything. That's our job. So,
amen, man. Can I quote you on that?
Dude, you can
I'm gonna quote that and put that on a shirt, because that's what Home Turf is all about.
That's what we're about.
We are not as like your big podcast. Mm-hmm. We're not your biggest.
We're Aggies by Aggies.
We're Aggie. We talk about Aggie students, and we are also Aggie students.
Yeah.
We're not grown men.
I know.
We're not getting paid for this.
I had an 8 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
I can relate to people listening.
Exactly. I mean, we're going to class, doing our homework, and then coming here and talking Aggie sports for y'all. So thank y'all again for listening. Please continue to listen. Please continue to share this. This was a real exciting episode, and I'll see y'all next week.
See ya.